Don't talk nonsense. Farage loses it with Campbell during feisty interview clash. The former Ukip leader was trying to outline the reasons the British public voted to leave the European Union. Mr. Farage said, "Can we just remind ourselves what we voted for?" Mr. Campbell interrupted and said, "We didn't vote to leave the single market because you said we wouldn't." The arch-Brexiteer responded, "Oh, don't talk nonsense. We voted to become an independent country. This was a political referendum and I can argue we will be far better off outside because 85% of the world's economy is outside of the Eurozone." Presenter Joe Coburn added, "But it is a forecast, isn't it, like any other forecast?" Mr. Farage said, "Neither of us know whether we are right or not on the economics, but what we do know is we voted for independence, and the problem is we are not actually getting that. Because of the transition period, it is going to be at least 5 to 6 years before we have any prospect of making our own laws or protecting our borders, and that is the frustration." Mr. Campbell interjected, "Where I think Nigel and I will agree is that during this transition to give ourselves time we do become effectively a rule taker, not a rule maker. Theresa May came in on the back of Brexit and I understand she feels she has to deliver Brexit, but she has done so the whole way through by paying attention to the 52% and the 48% can go hang. I think what you are going to see tomorrow with the People's Vote March in London, there are tens of thousands of people who represent millions of people in this country, who do not see this as a done deal and actually believe that having given the government the job of going to negotiate the deal, they then want to have the final say on whether this is the deal they voted for." Mr. Farage said, "So another referendum?" Theresa May is facing calls to abandon her Brexit red lines after aerospace giant Airbus warned it could pull out of the UK with the loss of thousands of jobs if Britain crashes out of the EU without a deal. The company, which employs 14,000 people at 25 sites across the country, said it would reconsider its investments in the UK and its long-term footprint in the country if Britain was forced to leave the single market and customs union in March 2019 without any transition agreement in place. The statement was greeted with dismay by unions, opposition parties and pro-EU Tories who called on ministers to come up with a pragmatic, sensible Brexit which protected trade and jobs. However, Mr. Farage suggested the warnings were exaggerated. He told Sky News, "20 years ago I heard car manufacturers saying if Britain didn't join the euro they may well consider pulling out of Britain. Nissan, others like that. Big business will always lobby for their interests, of course, they will.